Test, test. 1, 2, 3. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. May all participants check their name for attendance. First of all, First Petra.
Yes, we're here.
Is First Petra here?
Yes, we're here.
And then Integ. Call out for Star A.
Yes, we have.
Star Team A. Right. we return for the second session. Before that, let's welcome our judge for this session, Tan Sri Dr. Zaid Mujahid Petra bin Ahmad Baudowi, Senior Lecturer, University Teknologi Mara, Selangor UiTM. Without wasting any time, I invite Sekolah Tuanku Abdul Rahman Team A to start their presentation.
Give me a second. Starting my speech in three, two, one. Judges, imagine yourself living in Sabah when suddenly a flood hits your area and engulfs your entire property in water. Seeing your family drown without anyone there to help you. Imagine yourself living in Japan when without any further notice an earthquake hits your home and you are running helplessly for your life. This is the sad reality that millions of people have to face every single year. The sad thing here is we can't stop a landslide, but what we can do is try to save more lives. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I, Haiman Ang, will be representing Star A under the topic How AI Can Transform Disaster Response Efforts. Let's look into the video that my team has created.
They couldn't do anything due to the lack of warnings given earlier.
Those were the devastating effect that a tsunami can do towards an area. In the next slide, the news all around the world shows to you how hundreds and thousands, if not millions of people are experiencing natural disasters every single year. The question then becomes, what can we do for us to combat this type of catastrophe from happening towards people? Before I dive deep into it any deeper, let's look into the table of content or what I'm going to be presenting to you about. Number one is the different types of responses that people need to take. Secondly, are the issues regarding traditional disaster response efforts and why we need to replace them with AI. Thirdly, is the role of AI in transforming the disaster response efforts. And fourthly, my team and I has created a product that is going to specifically help people in flooded areas. Let's look into the fundamentals of rescue efforts. There are 4 things to note of. Number one is early warning system. Early warning system basically means that you want to give an early alert towards the people. When you give an early alert towards the people that is going to be experiencing a natural disaster, for example, a tsunami, they are able to evacuate and take early actions. Secondly is rescue and relief. So the volunteers are able to go towards this area and are able to find survivors that has made it out alive. Thirdly is the post-disaster recovery. So in this topic, I'm going to talk about how after a disaster has stricken the area, how we are going to give food, shelter, and water towards people that has been displaced and people who has been injured. Fourthly is in terms of decision making or how much allocation of resources are you going to do towards certain places. You might be asking judges, what is the issue with traditional disaster response effort and why do we need to replace them with AI? Look at this. How in the news we have seen that countless of our firefighters or the frontliners of our volunteers have died inside the infamous Californian inferno. This goes to my first issue, which is human weakness, how natural disasters create dangerous conditions for volunteers. Now, realize that in these areas, you have aftershocks, after earthquakes, you have electrical conductivity inside the flood where people may be electrocuted even when they're trying to save lives. This is why it is crucial for us to try to replace them with AI immediately. Secondly, is the in-app human decision. Let's look into the statistic, how humans, up to 50% of their way that humans learn is through experience. And experience takes time. And even if they are able to you are able to have the most competent people to be able to make the best decisions, humans simply cannot interpret the millions of decisions obtained from data. We can only do this, we can only optimize the decision made by using AI, by using algorithms, which I'm going to explain more in the next slide. So how can AI transform the disaster response effort? AI uses algorithm to predict natural events by analyzing historical data, weather patterns, and geological information. So where we have to feed the machine data, and the machine is going to create an output. So it's going to optimize the best way for us to, for example, find the best route, or we are going to see the patterns of how the fire is going to spread inside a wildfire. So these are specifically how AI is able to do this. Number one is through AI decision making. AI decision making can analyze data to identify the areas that need help the most. For example, in an area that has been stricken by natural disasters, we are going to split up this area and we are going to implement drop points for us to give supplies, for example, medicine. What AI can do is they can find the fastest route for the people and find the best drop point for us to implement for people to get the most help. So what is the impact of this? The impact of this is people are able to find the best way to go to an area and are able to save invaluable time. And time is the most important thing here, especially in natural disasters. Secondly, is through rescue and relief operations. We can do this with drones. For example, drones are able to go scout in wild forest fires and can find real-time information. We can scout people who are in danger inside these areas, and we can also find the pattern of the blaze inside these forests. So we can put out the fire more efficiently and faster. What are the effects of this? Number one is we are able to save more lives. Imagine your family have one more opportunity for you to see the family members or the loved ones. We think that this is the most important thing that we should strive for, and nobody should have to face the loss of the loved ones. Number one, and number two is to improve communication and coordination. How volunteers can now use AI for them to get the meetings, for them to create shelters that is going to be easily accessible towards people, because AI is able to make the most efficient route possible, and AI is able to communicate to the masses. Thirdly, is long-term resilience of infrastructure. How? Because when we are able to use AI, AI is able to design the best way for the buildings to be built, especially in vulnerable areas. For example, AI is able to design the best structure so it can withstand earthquakes, so it can withstand tsunami, for example, especially in Japan. Lastly, how it can help is because through post-disaster recovery. So, for example, after the 2018 earthquake and tsunami in Sulawesi, Indonesia, AI-powered satellite imagery was used for post-disaster damage assessments. How AI algorithms are able to process high-resolution images so they can identify damages and they can identify collapsed buildings, so people can save victims of those circumstances. Number two is through early warning system. How? Because, for example, in Bangladesh, how AI models are used as a part of the flooded early warning system. This system are able to predict the weather patterns for up to 7 days. How they do this is they are able to predict, they are able to analyze weather patterns, rainfall data, and also river levels. So if you want a world where we are able to save more people in this disaster-stricken area, you need to support this type of innovations. So this is the product that my team and I has created. This product is called Tiger Lane. Tiger Lane is basically a hovercraft that is going to help people in flooded areas. So how it operates, it uses AI to drive the boat by itself. And AI is able to use thermal detection to detect people in flooded areas. We have up to 15 rooms to fit people in. We also have 2 engineers and we have also 2 people on the hovercraft, which is the doctor and the mechanic. We are able to also use drones for us to scout these places in flooded areas. And we can do this by analyzing distant objects or distant places for us to locate the survivors. Let's look into a video my team has made. AI isn't just about convenience. It's about harnessing technology to protect us and our loved ones when we need it the most. In the face of disaster, AI is our ally, our protector, and our hope for a safer future. Thank you. That's all from us.
Yeah, thank you very much to Muhammad Daniel. Is it Daniel?
Yes.
Sorry, I just read the name on the screen.
Oh, Daniel is our innovator. My name is Haiman Ang, and my slide creator is Nafis Haziq.
Oh, okay, all right, Simon Hang, all right, Simon, all right, okay, thank you very much, Simon. It's a very good presentation. It's a very good presentation, and I mean explanation. Okay, it's very straightforward. Okay, you did mention about the why you created this thing. Okay, about the disaster. Okay, the solution, the AI that you implemented in it. Okay, however, the video that I'm interested in your video. Actually I wanted to see more. Okay, the one that you created. You created the innovation, right? The one, okay, I haven't seen any anything that you created in it.
Can you repeat?
I haven't seen anything that related to your innovation, okay, towards the video. On the video that you shown, the thing that medical things, right? Is it a drone or what? It's not really clear on what you're going to say about your innovation.
Okay, so basically our innovation is a hovercraft that can detect people using thermal vision. And this hovercraft is completely automated by AI. So we have 2 people in those boats, but those people does not drive the boat. Instead, they are mechanics to fix the kind of broken systems. And also number 2 are the medic. The medic is going to assist people in recovering after they've been struck by floods.
Okay, can you show me your presentation slides on particularly on the
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah.
Nafi, I think you can open up the prototype. You can.
The prototype things, yeah.
Okay, so we've created inside this AR, right?
Yeah.
RC.
Okay, how does it work here? Can you just briefly describe about how does it work?
Okay, so we have this propeller that can not only drive on the surface of water, but it can also be driven on land. So instead, the flight has already like cooled down, right? We can drive it on land, so it doesn't get stuck.
Okay,
And also we
this
have drones that can survey other like places, so we can bring this boat to help survivors.
okay. So this is the boat. This is a boat.
Yes.
Right. Okay, this is a boat. And the drone is separate things, right? It's not in
Uh,
here, right?
the drone is an inbuilt feature where the drone is going to work together with the boat and will like survey and send information towards the boat, so the boat can go towards the survivors.
Okay. So the AI things that you will install, is it in the drone and in this particular thing, in the prototype, right?
Yes.
Or in both sides?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So, okay, what
Yeah,
else?
the boat commands the drones to go out there. It's one
Okay.
algorithm.
Okay, I see. All right, thank you. I think that's all from me. Thank you. Well done.
Okay. I'm going to open up any more questions towards the participants. Do you have any?
I have a question. Sorry. All right. So in Malaysia, we already have a hovercraft, which is veneer hovercraft. So what's the difference between your design of for the hovercraft and the veneer hovercraft that we already have to help flooded areas?
This hovercraft is able to use thermal vision and can locate people specifically in flooded areas. I don't think the existing hovercraft really helps people in danger. The hovercraft is really there for like entertainment purposes or for like rich billionaires for them to use. So for example, we can help people in flooded areas like Tambun, for example. We can help people locate like survivors or people who have been stranded in their houses. And we can also give immediate medical support in this hovercraft.
Can I ask another question?
Sure.
Who is going to have the authority over this hovercraft? Is it the government or any other?
Okay. So like this hovercraft is created by a company, and this company is able to give towards NGOs or even government officials and even volunteers. So this is really created by our company, and our company will give it out towards people. So the way we get our funding is we are going to have like fundraiser from other people. Why does this work? It's because people really support natural disasters. How like natural disasters have raised a ton of money in status quo. Any school? MCKK?
I have a question.
I have a question.
Who?
Right.
Sesma.
So you mentioned earlier that the hovercraft use thermal detection to locate the flood victim, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So flood victim, they are covered in water. Water, the tendency of water to absorb heat is really high. So what if the hovercraft cannot detect the flood victim? The heat of the flood victim will be confirmed
I
absorbed
understand.
by the water surrounding.
Yeah, we can still detect heat with people covered in water. And you say that water is very conductive to heat. So if they absorb the heat, this is when the machine can detect people even if they're covered in water, because the water is going to be hot. Like it's going to be easy for it to detect people. That's just how heat works. Okay, if anybody has like one last question.
I have another question.
Yeah.
Is it alright? Earlier in your speech, you mentioned that volunteers mostly die from being close to fires or earthquake. But how does AI, like you said, giving the shortest route, can help them help the natural disasters?
Yeah, through algorithm, it's not that people, it's not survivors using algorithm. It is the volunteers seeing the fastest route to go towards an incident or to go towards survivors. So the algorithm will scan the area using like Google Maps and will show the volunteers the fastest route to go towards the survivor. And we can save invaluable time for us to make sure that nobody else dies.
So I have a question.
Okay.
So how do you plan to power the hovercraft?
How do you plan to power the hovercraft? Oh, the hovercraft is powered by electricity, right? Is AC motor. It is powered by AC motor.
Okay, let me just say.
Sure.
Okay, the question is how it is powered. So within your research, this is Taco Model 113 horsepower. The power for each propeller to give us almost 1,960 horsepower. They could be lift almost 300 kilogram. Almost 3,000 kilogram. Almost 1 ton. 1,000 kilogram matrix. So enough to bring the hovercraft through from the flooding area straight to the maybe some of shelter to the survivors. Did I answer your questions?
Yes,
Right,
thank
I think that's all for the Q&A session for Sekolah Tunku Abdul Rahman A. Thank you for that remarkable presentation. Next, I proudly invite Sekolah Datuk Abdul Razak to present about the potential of AI and robotic to address healthcare disparities.
Yes. Is my presentation clear? Is my presentation clear?
Yes, your presentation is clear, but your voice is kind of like not good.
You can hear the echo.
Okay. Is it good now?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. My presentation. Okay. Okay, I will start my presentation now in 3, 2, 1. Good afternoon, everyone. Today, we'll explore a critical global issue that affects millions of lives, which robotic and artificial intelligence, the role of AI and robots to address healthcare disparities. I'm Ahmad Johan, and this is my second speaker. Today, we aim to highlight the cause and effects of healthcare disparities and discuss the potential ways AI can contribute to solving these challenges.
Let's start by understanding what healthcare disparities mean. Healthcare disparities refers to differences in access to quality of and outcomes from healthcare services across different population groups. These disparities are often caused by financial, geographical, and infrastructural challenges. For example, The World Health Organization reported that over 1 billion people worldwide experience catastrophic healthcare costs, spending more than 10% of their household income on medical expenses. In rural areas, the challenges are even greater. People face long travel distances to reach healthcare facilities, and many clinics lack the necessary resources, such as diagnostic tools or medications. Okay. Uh,
Okay, firstly, I will speak about one of the biggest barriers to healthcare access is financial constraints. Healthcare service can be prohibitively expensive, especially in low and middle income countries. Families often pay out of pocket for medical treatment, forcing them to make tough choices between healthcare and other essential needs. Even in higher income nations, the rising cost of healthcare can lead to inequalities. Preventive care is often neglected because of affordability issues, leading to worse health outcomes in the long term. These final barriers disproportionately affect vulnerable populations, including the elderly, people with disabilities, and low-income households.
Next, let's discuss geographical barriers. For many rural communities, healthcare facilities are located far away, requiring long travel distances. In regions like Sabah and Sarawak in Malaysia, the ratio of doctors to patients is as low as 1 to 2,000 compared to 1 to 600 in urban areas. This disparity is not just a statistic, it translates into delays in receiving care, misdiagnosed conditions, and worse health outcomes. Moreover, inadequate infrastructure such as poorly maintained roads make traveling to clinics or hospitals difficult, especially during emergencies. Many rural areas also lack emergency transport, further compounding the problem.
Another major issue is the lack of resource in healthcare facilities. Remote clinics often lack essential diagnostic tools, advanced medical tools, and even basic medications. Without this, it becomes impossible to deliver high quality care. The shortage of healthcare professionals is another critical issue. Rural areas often struggle to attract and retain doctors due to lower income levels and limited career opportunities. This imbalance leaves urban center overabundant while rural areas are underpreserved. For instance, in Malaysia, urban hospitals handle 70% of population, leaving rural areas with limited coverage. This is uneven distribution of resources contributes to the ongoing urban-rural healthcare gap.
Finally, transportation issues significantly hinder healthcare access in rural areas. Poorly developed infrastructure slows travel, making it hard for patients to reach clinics or hospitals. In some cases, even ambulances are unavailable in remote regions. These challenges are further magnified during medical emergencies. Delayed care can mean the difference between life and death, especially in cases requiring immediate action like heart attacks or childbirth complications.
In summary, healthcare disparities are a complex issue rooted in financial, geographic, and infrastructure challenges. Addressing these disparities require collaborative efforts from governments, healthcare providers, and technological innovators. Now, we have our own solution by our innovator, Afiq Naufal bin Musyano.
Alright, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Afiq Naufal, and we have come up with our solution, which is creating a medium which physically filter healthcare issues. Now, what does this mean? What we are doing is we are inventing a type of kiosk or booth that allows our patients from rural areas to go to clinics. And what the booth does is it can allow AI screening for those patients that might have minor healthcare issues. Because in rural areas, the problem that we are facing is that it sometimes might be too crowded, and so much so that it can cause a lot of traffic in healthcare systems. So with this AI screening booth, what it does is it filters anyone who has, or any patients who has very minor healthcare issues. So now let me show you guys how it looks like. All right, so here you can see, by the way, our main innovation is this part over here, which is called the RoboDoc. It is a type of booth or kiosk that allows the patients to go up to it, and then it can ask or tell or feed it with some information regarding the problems that they are facing. So with this booth, it allows the patients to be able to instantly get informations on how they could fix their health problems. You know, this can actually lessen the burden on doctors nowadays, because instead of them being on a long line to wait for their turn to be diagnosed by a doctor, they can just instead go up to this AI booth, which allows them to get their own problem fixed in a much faster way, because not everyone has a serious problem. We want to prioritize people who have much serious issues with the doctor. So we don't want people with minor problems to go up to a doctor just to be told to do some home remedy or something. So this robot dog over here, it allows us to reduce the traffic congestion, to reduce the amount of people in clinics, and therefore it allows us to prioritize, and it allows us to prioritize the people who go up to a doctor, because as we know, in rural areas, it is very understaffed. So meaning we don't have enough doctors to care for everyone. So we can use AI instead to help reduce the traffic in this clinic in rural areas. All right, my friend will add some points to this.
Okay, so as you guys can see, the robot dog may look big and intimidating, but in reality, it's really just a computer inside a kiosk. So the main function of it is that it'll be placed in rural clinics in Malaysia. For example, in Malaysia, there is a series of rural clinics called Klinik Desa. These clinics are mainly, its purpose are mainly to serve pregnant women and children. But using a robot dog, we can also increase its field, its service to normal people. In turn, reducing the amount of traffic that these normal people that would have to go to clinics with doctors. Yeah, essentially, it would just reduce the traffic in clinics, because these robot dogs essentially diagnose and give the treatments to the patients before even stepping into the clinic. So, in conclusion, a robot dog is basically just an addition to the rural clinic system we have here in Malaysia to reduce the burden of doctors in clinics throughout the country. Not only that, rural clinics are also widely available and close to a lot of rural areas. It also reduces the need for an individual to go to a clinic that could be far away, and sometimes those said individuals are also unable to go to said clinics. Thank you, that's all.
Okay, thank you very much. A good presentation. Okay, I like the the product that you invented. Okay, looks great. Okay, with the 3D and the box, the design looks good, looks convincing, it looks like a kiosk. Okay. However, what do you think about the cost? Do you think that the invented product, okay, the robot dog, would be cost effective and everybody can use it? I mean, every government agencies can use that.
Sorry, sir,
Can you hear me?
sorry, sir, can you repeat the question?
Okay, can you hear me? Was it too slow
No, there
or
was
what?
we had technical difficulties and we couldn't hear.
Okay, all right. Okay, I repeat the question. Do you think your invented product, the robot dog, would be cost effective, and all the clinics in Malaysia would afford to buy to have it?
Yes, in fact, because as I said earlier, it's really essentially just a computer with an internet connection. So it's really just a software, basically. So in that sense, it's widely available and easily affordable for many clinics throughout the country. And to address maybe like the question of internet connection, right? Maybe in rural areas there might not be any internet. We could possibly invest in some technology like Starlink from SpaceX, satellite Wi-Fi. So that could address any possible connection issues in rural areas.
Yeah. Okay, great. So it means that you have to consider the internet connection as well, right? Because you are targeting the rural area, right? So
Yes, sir.
not all the rural area has the a good internet connection there. Okay, maybe that one is another issue, right? Okay, well, one more question is that how accurate you did mention about the robot dog could be the first screen of the patient, okay, just to reduce it's because to reduce the line at the clinic and hospital. Okay, how accurate would you guarantee that robodog can do as compared to a doctor diagnose?
Okay, so
Yeah.
to answer your question, we think in these rural areas where there are no doctors, right, it would be equally as efficient as a doctor because the fact is these areas don't have any specialists and for Malaysia, there are not many doctors that are available to be like online and be attending to these patients. And we feel that this system, this software is able to tend to everyone that needs their care. And also to further elaborate on its efficiency, we also think that its effectiveness will be as equal because the fact of the matter is these doctors just cannot be stationed in a rural area clinic, right? And to say if they were remotely stationed, right, and then talking to the patient like in Zoom like we are now, I feel like this effectiveness would still be the same because the doctor is reduced to an AI in that it can only gain information by words, by let's say a camera also, instead of like how a human would also gain information from their senses, from their touch, from their smell. So I feel like even if doctors were used here, it would still have the same effect because the ability of the doctors is reduced due to the rural component. That's all. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. That's all for me.
So I have a question.
Yes.
So I believe that human interaction is a very important part during healing process of a patient. So how can you keep the human interaction even though you use AI for diagnosis? So that's
Okay, so we understand your question, and our solution to that, is that like I said before, these robot dogs are going to be stationed in rural clinics, right? And these rural clinics are going to have government trained nurses, right? Nurses that have standardized training. And so we propose that we include standardized training to use this AI by those nurses in the event that those individuals cannot use this AI to its fullest. And if they need any help, they can also ask the nurse for more information. Does that satisfy your question?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Any
I
more?
have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Is RoboDoc used to diagnose patients or just treat patients, or both at the same time?
It's mainly yes, it is mainly used to treat and diagnose patients. Our main goal with RoboDoc is to reduce the likelihood of a patient going to a clinic for something that can easily be treated at home, or even so, a disease that can be treated by simple over-the-counter drugs. We are trying to reduce the burden on doctors, on medical personnel as a whole with this AI by just filtering it out, filtering all the small and minute not infectious diseases and illnesses that anyone could encounter in their life. Thank you. Any more questions?
Excuse me.
Alright,
Sorry.
that's all for the Q&A session. I'm very sorry, but we are chasing time. Right, thank you, Sekolah Dato' Abdul Razak, for that wonderful presentation. Next, I proudly invite College Tengku Kursia to present about the role of AI in developing sustainable smart cities.
Sorry, can you see my screen? Okay. Assalamualaikum and a very good morning. I bid to the Honorable Judge and my fellow participants. I am Arya Alisa binti Nur Azman. I'm going to be diving into the role of AI in developing sustainable and smart cities. But before that, let me introduce you to my wonderful teammates who have made this presentation come to life. Firstly, Nur Amir Akila as the slide creator and Iris Adina as the innovator. Right, let me break it down to you what I will be doing for you today, which is 4 simple parts. First is our topic and definitions. Second, our issues. Third, our resolutions. And 4, our sources of what we get out of this stuff. All right, let's get into it. AI and smart sustainable cities. What are they? What are we doing today? Right, so AI is basically a machine or a system that performs the cognitive functions that we associate with the human mind. So anything basically regards to human intelligence or large amounts of data, we can replace it with AI. Second, cities. Everyone knows what a city is, but what exactly makes a city smart and sustainable? Right, get this. Let me simplify. Smart means using technology through data analysis, and sustainable means that you use that technology to reduce environmental impact. Right, so with the help of AI, what is the prevalence of the issues in today's day that we're trying to solve in this world? What is going on right now? So it's a known fact that all around the world, we're going through urbanization. In fact, 58% of the world is going through urbanization by 2025. And it obviously brings challenges in terms of environmental impact or environmental quality and excessive use of energy. Not to mention, there are major metropolitan areas that consume around 65% of available primary energy and cause about 70% of overall greenhouse gas emissions of the world. So all of these problems have been handed to us and have been taught to us since we were in primary school. But what exactly are we doing to resolve this issue, right? So I'm going to be presenting to you 2 resolutions to these 2 problems that we have told about you today. So first, let me address the issue of the bad environmental quality that we are facing today. So I'm going by the keyword phrase of AI-powered supply management system. So that's the concept we're using today, but the one that we've adapted to is a carbon-based blockchain system. So I'm going to break it down to two parts, so it must be simpler for you. Firstly, AI powered and what supply management system is, or in other terms, our blockchain system. Right. So firstly, the cause of a bad environmental quality is the high concentration of industries in urban areas that contributes to extreme greenhouse gas emissions, therefore bad environmental quality. So our resolution for today will ensure every company in the industries that exist in today's state to become environmentally sound. What do we mean by this? Is by introducing the blockchain-based carbon tracking system that I've mentioned earlier. So why specifically blockchain? What is blockchain anyway? So blockchain is basically big blocks of data that are linked together or chained together, in other words. But basically, they are linked together with cryptographic hashes that trace everything that you do, that is very hard to hack into, and it's basically a tight system. So what does this benefit? What can we get from this? Basically, what we're showing you today is that these blockchain systems can accurately allow companies to measure their supply chains carbon footprints from production to disposal. For example, I'm producing a product and I'm making documents to produce that product, and I'm making transactions. All of those things will be recorded by AI into the blockchain system. So why is it so important? Who are the stakeholders that can benefit of this? This allows the government to keep strict regulations regarding environmental impact to be able to prosecute companies who do not comply. Next, I'm going to be getting to the AI part, or the algorithm part of our system here. So the algorithms that we will use is basically based off the blockchain technology that we already have. We are allowing these companies to produce better products, to detect the best supply chain through aspects of eco-transportation, of actually green suppliers, and so on and so forth, to produce lower PCF products. So you may ask, what is a lower PCF product? What is a PCF product? PCF product is a product carbon footprint. So the way that we will reduce that is by using AI to reduce the emissions of greenhouse gases, to find alternatives of renewable energy, and also to find eco-friendly routes to transport those products to the warehouses and to the customers. Right. So we've clearly mentioned you today that our system regarding the environmental quality is greatly helped by AI. Next, I'm getting on to our second issue here, which is the reduction of energy consumption. That's what we have to resolve in today's state. But how do we do that? I'm introducing you our concept, which is SNCD concept, or smart and sustainable. So what we'll be doing for you today is showing our innovation on the reality composer of what is comprised of a smart city, smart and sustainable city. So there's two characteristics here. First is a smart building and a smart street. Firstly, smart street. What makes a city smart, right? So our lights have light sensors or photoelectric sensors that can detect movement of pedestrians or cars, so that the lights will turn on until no longer movement is captured. That's the first instance that I can provide to you. Next one is the example where lighting is scheduled. Based off the data that's collected by the AI, the AI can make observations based on the lifestyle of the citizens, for example, of peak traffic hours, or when the weather looks gloomy, to brighten up the lights. Not to mention, we've also added an energy efficient LED tech to further reduce energy usage by 60% compared to conventional lighting. So it's proven here that we've reduced a lot of energy consumption with the smart city concept. Next, I'm going to be talking about the smart building. Okay, so the smart part in this building is basically using AI with the help of smart grids and also connected devices to enable a building to optimize electricity distribution. What I mean optimizing electricity distribution is by detecting the output of energy that you're using to avoid wastage of energy, especially in today's state where every building has air conditioning. The HVAC system, or basically the air conditioning system, uses a lot of energy and wastes a lot of energy too. So let me give you an instance where an office is open from the morning till even midnight. So during the times where, let's say, the offices are on break, or where the office is empty, or even when the temperature of the office is already cold, the AI will gather this information, observe the time and the people and the lifestyle that is regarding to the office and reduce the consumption of energy, or maybe even turn off the air conditioning, right? So furthermore, explaining about this information that we've received from the AI from the usage of energy in the building, we can collect these data and implement it into the blockchain system. So what will happen here is the blockchain system and the AI will track your usage of energy and certify you accordingly to AI. Why this certification is so important is firstly to recognize these buildings' environmental efforts to become green, and also, in other words, to help the government also track if you're doing anything unethical regarding to the environment and environmental impact of your building. This goes to the same as to the blockchain system as a whole. Next, I'm going to be explaining what exactly we've achieved today by doing all of these things. In a larger sense, of course, we're trying to save the environment, but what are we actually trying to do is to create companies that are transparent in their product management and produce customers that can actually support environmentally legit products. Because another issue that is prevalent today is where companies are greenwashing or saying they're doing things when they're not. For example, using renewable energy or minimizing their waste. So next, we are producing a society that overall advocates for the environment through technology. So what I mean by this is just, let's say you're driving your car through a street, and with using our smart lights concept, then you'll able to save energy. Next, to my next point is the government can effectively regulate the city's current impacts towards the environment. Obviously, through the blockchain system, the government can keep in check of everything that the city is doing and prosecute them accordingly. Next, I will end my presentation with the quote, "The best way to predict a future is to create it," by Peter Drucker. So we've proven to you that through our structured mechanisms and inclusive benefits, we'll foster a technocentric society and also a green one with a green mindset. So we've proven how GKC has utilized AI for the better future. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Okay, interesting topic, interesting presentation. Okay, so it's about smart city. So you combine the blockchain carbon and the smart building, smart light, right? And one question is that how would you ensure that the smart city would help the environment to the environment friendly? It means that no footprints out the carbon dioxide and some things like that. How would you ensure that from the smart city?
Okay, right. So our smart city concept was derived from the issue that we have to reduce the consumption of energy. So how we'll be doing this is the concept of using energy only when it is needed and also reducing the energy when you're not using it. So through the smart city concept, for example, the smart street, right? We're using the sensors to detect when the light is needed and turning it off when it's not needed. Because we've known now that the status quo now is that lights are turned on most of the time after dusk until the morning, until light is visible from the sun, right? So that's how we're reducing that. That's the first thing. Second thing is from our small buildings, we're basically detecting how much energy usage that you're using from the electricity and the air conditioning. All of those things will be detected because, like I mentioned before, the way that energy is used excessively is, for example, the HVAC system that I've mentioned earlier, where people turn on air cons all the time and it takes up so much energy. It's the appliance that actually takes up the most energy in a building. So by using AI and implementing it to turn it off or reduce the consumption of energy based on the lifestyle of the workers, or even when it's detecting the temperature of the office, we can reduce the consumption of energy when it's not needed. Yeah.
Okay, all right. That's all my question. Thank you.
Any more questions?
I have a question.
Yep.
Two actually. Number one is, I think if you use the power for sensors of the street light, I think it's more expensive and it's going to use way more energy for us to have the sensors and AI implemented into them. Number two, even if you are able to detect how much power people are using, are you going to force people to turn off their aircons or force people to change their lifestyles?
Okay, I'm sorry, I think you're not getting my point here. Okay, so firstly, you mentioned about the cost maintenance of these sensors, right? So let me introduce you to the concept of short-term and long-term. The reason why our future as a whole is investing thoroughly through AI is because it may be a bit pricey at first, but once you use it for like 50 years to come, because it's sustainable, then you'll be able to cover the cost of your investment, or in other terms, your ROI. So you'll actually get benefits and actually profit off using these sensors. At the same time, saving the earth. Next, you mentioned about without changing the lifestyle of the people in the office or forcing them to turn off the air cons or something like that. What I mean by this is we are not forcing these people to turn off the aircon. The AI is doing that for them. So let's say the AI exists in the building, right? So it's detecting, oh, when is the peak hour of peak office hour times, what is the temperature of the current office, whether it's cold or not. So the AI will automatically reduce the consumption of energy at that time when it's not needed as much, or even just turn it off. So actually these people aren't doing the work. That's the idea of AI. You're not using humans, you're using human intelligence and the data that they've received from AI to create, well, a better future. Does that answer your question?
Okay, so the AI is going to make your lifestyle. Okay, okay.
Yeah, thank you. Any more questions? With that, I think I end my speech. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
From my understanding, your point is that the AI can control people's houses, right? On how they can save energy. Is that correct?
No, I think I might have not clarified that properly, but we've mentioned specifically buildings, and I've even given instances of like office hours. But sure, to some extent, AI could be implemented in a household, but what we're introducing today is more to corporate buildings or buildings that actually have workers. So where to more specifically highlight the usage of HVAC systems or these air conditioning systems, so they aren't over consuming energy. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Any more?
I have a question. I understand the use of blockchain technology to ensure the security of the data that of those industries that release carbon. But how are you going out of your way to obtain those data? How are you? What measurement instrument that you're using to ensure that those industries are releasing that amount of carbon emission? Sure, you can secure this data. But how are you gathering those data? That's my question.
Okay, thank you for the question. I'm glad you asked this. But to grasp the concept of blockchain at its very initial point is that blockchain is basically a large server. I think you may have heard of Bitcoin. It's a large server that's shared by all the stakeholders. So everything that you can do, this is what I mean by you can trace everything that you can do, because every information from your documents to your transactions goes into this blockchain. So therefore, the government can see what you're doing. So if you do anything unethical, then they can prosecute you accordingly. Does that answer your question?
Kind of, but not really. Because sure, you can input those data inside the blockchain, right? But what if you go out of your way to not include the data in the blockchain?
Oh, okay. So get this. In this technology that we're introducing, basically this data is collected, for example, that I provided you just now, these sensors. So it's automatically, absorbed into our blockchain technology. It's not something that you have to click and turn on. That's not the point of AI anyway. So by having this absorption of technology, because that's how technology works, because it's completely online and it's absorbed into a server, then actually you don't even have to go out of your way at all to adapt this technology. Is it clear?
So does it only measure the amount of electricity that you use instead of the carbon emissions, for example, from smoke, from industry that creates environmental pollution?
Okay, this is my last clarification. Sir, I don't think you're getting my point here. So this concept that you're grasping here is to the smart city concept. That's for the reduction of energy, not anything about smokes or things like that. That is applied for the AI blockchain system that we've adapted into our resolution for today. So that tracks what is used and what is done unethically by the company as itself, because it indirectly also produces gas emissions. For example, you're buying unethical stuff that leads to unethical factorizing that produces, unethical emission of gases. So that's what I mean by it doesn't apply to the smart city concept entirely. It also applies to the blockchain system and also to some extent the smart building system. Is that clear enough for you?
That is clear. Okay.
Thank you.
Now we're gonna end the Q&A session. Thank you for all the questions. And thank you, College Tunkosia, for the presentation.
Thank you.
Next, moving on to our second last participant from Sekolah Bersama Penuh Integrasi Gombak to present about the global impact of AI on environmental conservation efforts.
Hello, everybody. Am I audible? Hello, everybody. Am I completely audible? I'm so sorry, there must be some technical issue on my side. Am I completely audible?
Yes,
Yes, you are.
Oh, okay, all right. Thank you so much. Let's give a minute to my friend to present the slides. All right. I will be beginning my speech in 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, seeing these bright, young, intelligent faces on my screen, I know I do not need to explain the dangers of climate change to our world. It's in everything, everywhere, all at once. Every other day is either scorching hot or prolonged rain. But the question we would like to put forth today is, are we optimizing the most out of our technology to help us fight against it? I ask you to keep this question in mind as we move on with our presentation. Before that, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and a very good afternoon I bid to the honorable judges, impressive participants of Star Confex's 2025 U-Lead, and my dearest team members here beside me. I am Amir Ashraf, and I'll be presenting these eye-catching slides we see here, which are made by my teammate Lukman Zulkifli. And the augmented reality model you will see in our presentation was made by Intercom's brilliant innovator Adib Sakwan. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's dive straight into it. Recent news have shown tragic events in the world due to climate change. According to an article by Fox, in December of 2024, the Valencia region in eastern Spain saw an unprecedented downpour, receiving a year's worth of rain in just a few hours, resulting in the worst flood on the continent since 1967 and the death of 224 people. In the aftermath, residents directed their outrage at regional officials and the national government, which they blamed for what they saw as delayed, inadequate warnings. In another article by Reuters, Africa has the world's least developed weather and climate observation network. Being unprepared has deadly consequences, ladies and gentlemen. Floods not only happen more often across Africa than in Europe and North America combined, but they kill 4 times more people on average due to a lack of preparedness and warnings, a 2023 article in the journal Nature said. Here we can see some problems to be improved upon. First, inefficient data processing. Second, delayed warning systems in our current non-AI powered monitoring technology, resulting in third, unpreparedness of innocent people. Therefore, me and my team have recognized our objective, which is to innovate an AI-powered robot that's able to solve these problems in line with SDG 13, Target 13.1, and the Early Warning for All initiative by the United Nations. In order to do that, we have to recognize the flaws of current climate change monitoring technology in detail. First, we have the issue of limited adaptive capability. Weather stations, ocean buoys, and satellites can suffer from precision issues due to changes in calibration or degradation of sensors over time. And the inability of non-AI powered monitors to adjust to this will result in data errors. Next, many non-AI technologies are designed to measure specific parameters, for example, temperature, humidity, and CO2 levels. But capturing complex interaction between these parameters often requires multiple instruments, leading to logistical and resource challenges. Second, delayed response. Without AI, much of the data collected by non-AI systems require manual pre-processing, cleaning, and analysis by human experts, which is time-consuming, prone to human error, and can lead to bottlenecks in data processing and decision-making. Third and last, limited predictive capabilities. Non-AI systems can only record current and historical data. Predicting future trends or identifying patterns requires advanced modeling techniques. Unable to identify subtle changes in large data sets, for example, early signs of climate shifts. Now, onto the awaited question, what can AI do to help solve these problems? First, data integration and standardization. AI-powered data integration algorithms can standardize and combine data sets from diverse sources. For example, I have mentioned ocean buoys and satellites to create a coherent global data set. This enables researchers to analyze large-scale patterns over multiple geographies and timeframes. Second, real-time data processing and analysis. AI-driven systems can process data from satellites and sensors in real time, providing immediate information on developing climate events. This improves the speed and accuracy of early warning systems for natural disasters. Fourth, anomaly detection. AI can identify emerging climate phenomena or tipping points, enabling earlier intervention. Fifth, improving predictive models. Neural networks in AI machine learning models can improve predictions of extreme weather events by recognizing complex interactions between atmospheric pressure, temperature, and humidity. Lastly, improved public communication. Through models such as the Natural Language Generation AI model, it can produce easy to understand reports and forecasts, improving public awareness and engagement. With that, we present to you an augmented reality model of our AI-powered robot innovation, the Gombify Air. Ta-da! Okay. Let me explain a bit about the components. Firstly, power source. We have a solar panel and LiPo battery, and it is regulated by a smart battery management system. For its navigating system, we have GPS and LiDAR to enable it to map out its surrounding areas as a navigating system for the drone robot to move around in all terrains while avoiding obstacles. Next, air quality monitoring system. It can measure parameters such as concentration of air particles, temperature, humidity, and pressure combined with the LSTM AI model to make accurate weather predictions. So to monitor air quality, we have LiDAR, LSTM, and BME 280. We plan to adopt and implement an air quality monitoring sensor from a recent machine developed by Nanyang Technological University in Singapore, which is 3 Dreams at SG. It is a system consisting of 3 LiDAR stations, and each station provides information every second on aerosol backscattering, which is the movement of air particles in the air, and wind over a vertical distance of 6 kilometers above the ground. We decided to also implement an LSTM deep learning machine model based on a study by Neo X et al. That proved that LSTM is the best AI deep learning machine model for weather predictions. The LSTM in the BME 280, which is a temperature, humidity, and pressure sensor, will be supported by a Raspberry Pi processing computer to help with data analysis. This is beneficial for us because an LSTM deep learning machine model is able to retain information across long periods. Therefore, it will be able to recognize patterns and trends in air quality. Next, it also allows us to predict future forecasts in air quality, enabling it to act as a warning system for the public. Second last, real-time data. With LoRa data transmission module, we can have long-range communication even from remote places with no coverage. And lastly, for our warning system, using the LoRa data transmission module, we will transmit notifications to the public with a natural language generation NLG AI model to alert them of developing climate events. With that, we end our presentation with a video of our innovation. In case it was not clear, our innovation is a robot air quality monitoring machine that can also have a detachable drone to go and detect the situations in hand. And it can also act as a warning system for the public to help us with the delay in warnings of climate events such as floods and haze. I believe that is all from us. Thank you so much. Wait, I'm so sorry. I can't hear you. I'll try to solve this technical problem on our side. Wait.
Okay, can you hear me?
Okay,
Hello?
yes, I can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
So sorry for
All
that.
right, that's fine. I think it's on my side. Okay, and thank you very much for your presentation. Okay, my question is that how it would be your product that you invented here would be benefit to our country, because this product, the things that you presented was like focusing on predicting the extreme weather, things like that. So how it would benefit to our country in terms of weather, something like that. I don't see. I can't I can't relate to what you presented.
All right, so thank you for
Yeah.
the question. As I have explained, our machine is a climate monitoring robot.
Mhm.
So we started off with this idea with two things in mind. The fact that Malaysia has always had problems with haze and floods. For example,
Okay.
just in late December recently, we had floods in the nation and the states above. So we believe that with this innovation, with its capability of monitoring climate change and the weather, we can provide early warnings for the states above, and also not only just to provide warnings, but also to predict future events that may happen in a day from now, in a week from now, relating to the data that we have of past events in Malaysia. So we can predict more future events and prevent these catastrophes from happening. I hope that answers your question.
Switch off now.
Okay. All right. Thank you. That's all. No, that's all from me. Yeah, it's over to you, moderator.
Right, so we're going to continue we are going to moving on to our last participant, which is from Sekolah Menengah Sains Tunku Muhammad First Petra, to present about the use of AI-powered robots in climate change monitoring.
Excuse me, can I ask if I'm audible?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll be starting my speech in 3, 2, 1. 1. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very pleasant day. I bid to the Honorable Judge and everyone present here today. So we are representing Petra Science Secondary School, School of Global Excellence, with the topic of preparing the global workforce for AI and robotics advancements. So before we move any further into our topic, let me introduce my dear teammates. So first, we have Iman Sofia as the innovator, Khadijah Zahra as the slide creator, and lastly me, Kasih Hajaratul Maimunah, as the presenter. Now let's dive into our presentation with the topic of preparing the global workforce for AI and robotic advancements. So first, we believe that artificial intelligence or AI and robotic advancements could really help companies' growth, especially in gaining profit in the current global workforce right now. However, in the status quo or the current situation in the world right now, the global workforce is not ready for any artificial intelligence or robotic advancements at all. And why do we say so is because employees or workers are not equipped with proper skills to use AI and robotic advancements to its full potential. And this is known as the digital skill gap. And the effects of this is that first, it prevents companies from gaining profit that could be gained. And second, it hinders employees' capability to complete tasks quickly. So how exactly do we help these employees and workers to utilize artificial intelligence and robotic advancements so profit could be gained and work can be done quickly? And that leads us to our topic, which is preparing the global workforce for AI and robotic advancements. So in order to prepare, we believe that we have to equip workers with the skills to use, manage, and innovate with these technologies while also adapting to the evolving job roles right now. So not only do we help these workers to the global workforce as a whole to increase profit and complete tasks quickly, but we also help individuals or the workers and employees to adapt to the evolving job roles in the industry right now. So let's say in a scenario where that particular employee have to quit their job and have to take another job that requires them to use more artificial intelligence or robotic advancements, then they are able to adapt to that particular job role. Hence, that leads us to our problem statement, which is the significant shortage of digital skills necessary to effectively utilize these technologies. So because of the gap between the digital skills in the global workforce right now, it hampers the potential benefits of AI and robotics across various sectors. And to make issues worse, because of the accelerating integration of artificial intelligence and robotics into industries, the digital skills but in the global workforce right now is that there's a huge gap between the digital skills in the global workforce right now. Now, let's take a look at some articles talking about the digital skill gap in the global workforce. So there are many articles that have discussed about the digital skill gap in the global workforce right now, which shows the significance of it to be addressed in order for our global workforce to work smoothly. Next, let's take a look at the impact of the problem statement on the global workforce right now. So first, our global workforce experienced job displacement. Second, reduced productivity from employees and workers. Second is slower technological advancements, since the employees and workers aren't able to adapt to the technological advancements that are currently happening right now. Hence, technological advancements can't be made any further. And lastly, it limits economic growth. So all of these impacts especially affect companies that rely heavily on automation, and companies fail to maintain competitive edge without a workforce that is capable of utilizing advanced technologies effectively. So what are our objectives on solving this problem? So first of all, we want to enhance industry relevant expertise. Second, we want to encourage engagement and collaboration. Third, we want to bridge the digital skills gap. Fourth, we want to promote responsible AI and robotic engagement. And lastly, we want to foster global accessibility. So first, what we have came up with is AI-supported dynamic learning ecosystem, or also known as ADLE. So this is our solution to the problem statement that we have stated, which is the digital skill gap that happens in the global workforce right now. So what exactly is ADLE? ADLE is an augmented reality or AR-powered workforce training system. And ADLE is specifically designed to prepare individuals for advancements in AI and robotics, whereby ADLE combines technology, content, and also industry partnerships. So this is how our ADLE augmented reality headset looks like. So basically, ADLE is we have an augmented reality headset which have AI algorithms in it to help employees and workers to be able to learn how to utilize AI and robotic advancements properly. Next is what exactly happens inside of ADLE. So first of all, we have onboarding and assessment, whereby upon joining ADLE, we will conduct a dynamic skill assessment, or also known as DSA. So DSA is used to identify knowledge gaps between the employees. So for example, let's say we have a factory worker and an engineer. So a factory worker and both the factory worker and the engineer will go through the dynamic skill assessment, and then the dynamic skill assessment is able to identify that the factory worker have minimal digital skills. Meanwhile, the engineer already have the basic skills of utilizing AI and robotic advancements. Hence, we will recommend tailored learning paths for both of the employees. They won't have the same paths, whereby the factory worker will go through foundational AI basics first, then the engineer, meanwhile, the engineer could dive straight into machine learning modules. Second is personalized learning paths, whereby ADL generate customized curriculum for each user, whereby it aligns with the career goals, current role, and industry demands that's happening in the global workforce right now. So these paths are modular, whereby it allows learners to progress step by step. And how is that? Is through interactive lessons, hands-on simulations, and real-world challenges. Next is gamification and engagement tools. So in ADL, we incorporate game-like elements, for example, points, levels, rewards for completing tasks, and leaderboards for friendly competition. Why is this? It's because we want to enhance motivation, because employees will get digital certificates and bonuses after they succeed in each game. So we will improve the productivity of these workers at the end of the day. Next is continuous feedback and adaptation, whereby in ADL we have AI tutors that give real-time feedback for user performance. For instance, if a user struggles with something, the system will provide additional tutorials, hints, and simplified exercises. Next is real-world integration. So ADL bring training into real-world settings, and how we do that is by overlaying interactive augmented reality instructions and tools directly onto the physical workspace, whereby users can practice tasks and procedures in their actual work environment. Hence, we succeed in blending learning and also daily operations. For example, if a factory worker need to learn how to operate a robotic arm, they will see step-by-step AR guides by using ADL, and this eliminates the needs for companies to create separate training facilities or even mock setups. So this ensures that learning experience directly align with the tools and tasks the user will encounter in their role. And lastly, networking and mentorship. Well, by in ADL, we will include social learning hubs. So these social learning hubs allow users to connect with each other and even work on a project together. So, for example, a worker in Malaysia could collaborate with a worker in Germany, for example, for them to create a project. Next is, how does ADL help? First, ADL helps by bridging skill gap, whereby we leverage AI to assess individuals and organizational competencies, where we identify skill deficits that hinder productivity or adaptability to new technology. By bridging these gaps, we empower workers to remain relevant and also valuable. So this just increases the employee marketability even more. Meanwhile, we also help organizations benefit from us by creating a capable and confident workforce. Next is real-world readiness. So we emphasize on practical learning through simulations and live projects, whereby we replicate real-life scenarios workers are likely to encounter. So we ensure that trainees are not only knowledgeable, but also job-ready, where they are capable of immediately applying their skills to solve problems and innovate in their roles. Third is scalability and accessibility. So we accommodate a diverse global audience, whereby we ensure that ADL's reach extend to even underserved regions and populations. And how we do that is by supporting multiple languages, and we offer localized content to address cultural and regional differences. And individuals can even access training anywhere with an internet connection. And lastly, cost-effective upskilling. So we eliminate the need for companies to build their own training program or hire external consultants. So did you know that even in human resources department, the average hiring cost of an employee is 18,000 ringgit. So let's say if a company decides to hire another person, they add another 18,000 ringgit to their budget. So just by simply subscribing to ADL and getting a ADL headset, then they are able to gain access to ready-made industry-relevant content, whereby it saves their time and also their resources. So by using ADL, the maximum cost for an ADL headset is 1,400. So 13 ADL headsets equals to one extra consultant. Let's say if a company decides to hire one, whereby let's say if a company decides to hire another consultant, then they're not able to give personalized training to thousands of workers in that particular company. And lastly, the summary of ADL itself. First, ADL is dynamic, whereby we adapt to the learner's progress and evolving industry trends. Second, it is engaging, where we use gamification and community interaction to maintain user interest. Fourth, third, it is interactive, whereby we provide hands-on experience with real-world AI and robotic tools. And lastly, it is inclusive, whereby it is accessible to individuals across various demographics and skill levels. And with all of that being said, I'll end my presentation here, and we'll move on to the Q&A session. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, great. You're talking, your product is about AI robotics advancement. Okay, means that you created something, but you don't have the product, yeah? You don't have the invented product.
So basically, ADL is basically an AI algorithm that we put inside of an AR headset, which is augmented reality. So basically, these employees are going to wear these headsets for them to be able to learn how to utilize AI and robotic advancements in the global workforce right now.
Okay, all right. Okay, you were talking about the cost. Okay, about the cost. You can reduce the cost of the companies in terms of in-person training, right? You were saying that. Okay, however, you will be spending more on robot things. You need to buy the robot things. You need to spend more on maintenance and things like that. So how would you advise a company, or how would you relate, or how would you tell the company to help to reduce the cost of a company? So you were talking about to reduce the in-person training. But at another time, okay, at the same time, you were increasing the cost for maintaining and buying the robot things. So how would you say that?
All right. So we have stated that the maximum cost for an ADL headset is 1,400 ringgit, right? So let's say if a company decides to hire another extra consultant whereby or in-person training, then they will need to add another 18,000 ringgit to that. And not only that, they will add extra money to their resources, extra money that they should spend. And also at the same time, these workers don't get personalized training that ADL provides to employees. So what I'm trying to say is that one extra consultant cannot give personalized training to thousands of workers that are in a company. And an ADL headset, one ADL headset costs maximum 1,400 ringgit. So 13 ADL headsets is the equivalent of one extra consultant. So these companies will be able to get 13 headsets and personalized training for thousands of their employees, compared to one extra consultant, which will not give personalized training to their employees, which also saves up their time and also their resources at the same time.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions from other schools?
May I ask a question?
Yes, please.
Okay, so you explained that ADL is sort of an virtual reality goggle headset. So my question is, when they are wearing this headset, where will they be? Will they be in a special room with a treadmill? What will they do? What will they touch? Yeah,
okay. Thank you very much for the question. So regarding the where the employee or the worker would be at when they're using the ADL headset is up to the company. So let's say if the company decides to put them in a specific room just to use that ADL headset to learn how to utilize AI and robotic advancements, then they're able to do so. But what we're trying to say is that what's important is that what happens inside of the ADL headset itself, whereby we show the augmented reality of them handling or utilizing these AI and robotic advancements, which could help them learn how to use how to properly utilize these AI and robotic advancements to its full potential, so that the global workforce as a whole could develop even more. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Any more questions?
Thank you, Sekolah Menengah Sains Tengku Muhammad Faris Petra, for that remarkable presentation. With that, we have reached the end of the ULIT second session. Switch gratitude to Tan Sri Dr. Zaid Mujahid Putra bin Ahmed Bodowi for making some time to become a judge for this year's ULIT competition despite. We also would like to thank everyone for attending and